Welcome back to our chilling series exploring the haunted corners of the Peach State, where history and horror intertwine in ways that defy explanation. In this seventh installment of Most Haunted Places in Georgia, we delve deeper into the shadows cast by ghostly legends, uncovering tales so spine-tingling they'll leave you questioning the boundaries between the living and the dead. From antebellum plantations steeped in tragedy to Civil War battlefields frozen in time, Georgia is a treasure trove of spectral stories rooted in sorrow, betrayal, and unrelenting despair. Georgia's haunted places are more than just locations. They're vessels carrying the echoes of lives lived and lost. These sites bear witness to events that continue to reverberate through time, battles fought on hallowed ground, unspeakable crimes cloaked in secrecy, and the lingering presence of those who refuse to move on. Each place holds its own dark secrets, whispered through creaking floorboards, flickering lights, and disembodied voices that drift through empty halls. Whether you're drawn by morbid curiosity or an insatiable thirst for the supernatural, these destinations promise encounters that blur the line between reality and nightmare. In this episode, we'll journey to some of the most infamous haunted locales across Georgia, places steeped in lore and fear, where the past refuses to stay buried. We'll peer into the shadowy depths of haunted mansions, explore eerie swamps cloaked in mystery, and tread cautiously through abandoned institutions teeming with restless spirits. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from witnesses brave enough to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the haunted heart of Georgia, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. The Sorrelweed House, a ghostly grandeur in Savannah. Nestled in the historic district of Savannah, the Sorrelweed House stands as a monument to both luxury and despair, a grand Greek Revival mansion whose opulent facade conceals decades of tragedy and supernatural activity. Built in 1840 by Francis Sorrel, one of Savannah's wealthiest merchants, the house quickly became a symbol of Southern aristocracy. With its sweeping staircases, ornate woodwork, and panoramic views of the Savannah River, the Sorrelweed House epitomized elegance and sophistication. Yet beneath its polished exterior lay a darker narrative, one marked by scandal, violence, and untimely deaths. One of the most enduring legends tied to the Sorrelweed House revolves around Matilda Sorrel, Francis's wife, whose life ended in tragedy. According to local lore, Matilda discovered her husband's affair with their Irish maid, Molly, and confronted them in a fit of rage. Overcome with grief and humiliation, she took her own life in the parlor, leaving behind a legacy of sorrow that continues to haunt visitors today. Guests touring the house frequently report strange occurrences: lights turning on and off by themselves, radios tuning to static-filled stations, and the overwhelming scent of roses lingering in the air. Some claim to wake up in the middle of the night to find their bedsheets tangled impossibly tight around their limbs, as if restrained by invisible hands. Others describe hearing faint sobbing emanating from the parlor, only to discover it empty upon investigation. Another prominent figure in the house's haunted lore is believed to be Molly, the ill-fated maid. Paranormal investigators exploring the mansion have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a female entity whispering phrases like, "Forgive me," and "Leave me alone." Witnesses describe seeing a shadowy figure resembling Molly pacing anxiously near windows, clutching what appears to be a candle before vanishing without a trace. The house's basement, once used for storage and laundry operations, has become a focal point of paranormal activity. Employees tasked with cleaning the area often describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the cavernous space, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a tour guide who swore he felt cold metal cuffs snap around his wrists, pulling him backward toward the darkness before releasing him abruptly. Overnight visitors to the Sorrelweed House frequently recount bizarre experiences that defy logical explanation. Lights flicker unpredictably, especially in hallways leading to the older sections of the building. Doors slam shut on their own, and the scent of cigar smoke wafts through the air despite the house's strict no-smoking policy. One guest described waking up to find his reflection in the mirror staring back at him, but not quite matching his movements, as if another entity stood behind him, mimicking his actions. Another recounted seeing a woman in a flowing gown standing at the foot of her bed, her hollow eyes boring into hers before vanishing without a sound. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Sorrelweed House remains a popular destination for tourists and locals alike. Its picturesque setting and rich history make it a favorite spot for photography and leisurely strolls. For those brave enough to venture inside after dark, the possibility of encountering Matilda, Molly, or one of the countless other spirits said to linger adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor steps onto the mansion grounds, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of the past, or will they become another chapter in the house's macabre legacy? The Moon River Brewing Company, elegance entangled with the supernatural in the heart of Savannah, where the vibrant energy of Bay Street meets the historic charm of cobblestone alleys, stands the Moon River Brewing Company. A beacon of refined craft beer with a haunting legacy that dates back over a century. Established in 1999 within a converted 19th century bank building, the brewery quickly became a hub for food lovers, locals, and tourists seeking a taste of southern hospitality. Its stately courtyards, hand-carved wooden furnishings, and lush gardens evoke a sense of timeless grace, yet beneath its polished veneer lies a darker history steeped in tragedy, betrayal, and spectral encounters. One of the most iconic hauntings associated with Moon River Brewing Company is that of James Stark, a former resident of the building who met a violent end. Described as kind-hearted but deeply troubled, Stark's life was marred by personal struggles and societal pressures. Historical records indicate that he fell victim to a barroom brawl that swept through the establishment in the early 20th century, leaving him trapped inside. His death sent shockwaves through the community, and his memory has since become intertwined with the fabric of Moon River Brewing Company. Guests and staff alike report seeing a man in a dusty Victorian suit gliding silently through the dining rooms, his translucent form illuminated by dim light. Some claim to feel an icy draft pass through them as he drifts by, while others report hearing soft humming emanating from empty rooms, believed to be Stark tidying up after guests long gone. Another prominent figure in the brewery's haunted lore is believed to be Eleanor Braddock, a wealthy socialite who hosted lavish parties in the building during its heyday. Though not a permanent resident, her larger-than-life personality left an indelible mark on the property. Visitors recount sightings of a tall, imposing woman clad in period attire, pacing anxiously near the bar or sitting alone at a corner table. Her presence is often accompanied by the faint clinking of silverware and the smell of lavender, as though she's preparing for one last soiree. Some speculate that Eleanor lingers due to unfinished business, unable to part ways with the city that played such a pivotal role in her life. The brewery's basement, once used for storage and wine cellars, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the area describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the narrow passageways, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a server who swore he saw a young boy playing with marbles in the corner of the room, only for the child to disappear when approached. Theories abound that the boy may have been a victim of illness or accident during the home's early years, forever trapped in the confines of its lower levels. Modern-day investigations into Moon River Brewing Company's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including the main dining room and the basement. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique furniture pieces believed to have belonged to original owners. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "I'm sorry," and "Let me go." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, Moon River Brewing Company continues to draw visitors eager to immerse themselves in its storied past. For those brave enough to dine there, the opportunity to encounter Stark Eleanor Braddock, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. The Chickamauga Battlefield, shadows of faith and sorrow deep in the moss-draped forests of North Georgia, shrouded by ancient oaks and Spanish moss, lies the Chickamauga Battlefield, a once majestic Episcopal sanctuary that now stands as a testament to resilience and ruin. Built in 1863 and later rebuilt after being burned by Union forces during the Civil War, the battlefield served as a spiritual haven for generations of worshippers. Today, its weathered brick walls and crumbling columns bear silent witness to the violence, desecration, and despair that plagued those who sought solace within its sacred grounds, and to the spirits that remain bound to its haunted ruins. One of the most pervasive legends tied to Chickamauga battlefield centers around the graveyard, where countless souls were laid to rest over centuries. Historical records indicate that many graves were disturbed during periods of conflict, leaving bodies exposed and spirits unrest. Decades later, visitors exploring the site report hearing faint moans and cries emanating from the remnants of the cemetery. Some claim to see shadowy figures huddled in the corners, their faces obscured by darkness, while others describe feeling an oppressive weight pressing down on them as they approach the site. Another haunting figure associated with Chickamauga battlefield is believed to be Reverend Alexander Hewitt, a fiery preacher who led the congregation during the late 19th century. According to local lore, Reverend Hewitt delivered impassioned sermons calling for resistance against Union tyranny, earning him enemies among occupying forces. His ghost is said to wander the nave, his ethereal form clad in clerical robes. Guests visiting the ruins have reported seeing a pale figure pacing restlessly near the altar, his expression frozen in eternal anguish. Others describe hearing faint whispers of prayer and hymns, as though someone is conducting a service. The battlefield's surrounding woods, thick with underbrush and towering trees, have also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Visitors walking among the weathered headstones often feel an inexplicable sense of dread, as though unseen eyes are watching their every move. Shadows flit across peripheral vision, disappearing when directly observed. Some claim to hear disembodied voices calling out names unfamiliar to modern ears, believed to be the voices of parishioners buried without proper markers. Others report seeing apparitions of men and women in period clothing, their faces gaunt and weary, standing silently amidst the graves. Paranormal investigators exploring Chickamauga battlefield have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. EMF detectors routinely spike in certain areas, particularly near the altar and the graveyard. EVP recordings capture faint whispers pleading for help, interspersed with anguished cries. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of a translucent figure standing in the doorway of the ruins, its hands raised as if begging for mercy. These findings have solidified the site's reputation as one of Georgia's most active haunted locations. Despite, or perhaps because of, its grim history, Chickamauga battlefield continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the sacrifices made in pursuit of faith and freedom. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, Chickamauga battlefield offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. Patterns across Georgia's haunted places, themes of tragedy and resilience as we traverse the haunted landscapes of Georgia. From the opulent halls of Moon River Brewing Company to the somber grounds of Chickamauga battlefield, striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of hospitals to the shadowed basements of monuments, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of unethical experiments, or the betrayed trust of patients subjected to inhumane treatments, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic buildings, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hospitals, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. As we bring this chilling journey through Georgia's most haunted places to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of Georgia's haunted places yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.